Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. It's Wednesday, August the 31st. I'm Tony Haggerty, a Haggerty10 Twitter handle. You all know that off by heart now. And I'm joined today, as always, by Sean Martin at Sean Martin TCW Twitter handle. You know that off by heart too. How are you, Sean?
Good. Tony, yourself?
Not too bad. It's sunny in here in East Kilbride, so it's obviously glorious down in the Riviera where you are.
Of course, it always is.
We're aiming for another wonderful Wednesday, Sean, aren't we? Celtic
Certainly are.
In Dingwall tonight. But first things first, big up to our sponsors, new sponsors, Football Prizes. And Sean, today there's a different prize on offer, isn't there? For the early bird price of £3.16, guys, let's do this. You can own and win a signed and framed Lyle Abada shirt. Sean, that's worth having, is it not?
Certainly is, especially the way that he's playing the now.
And you just follow the link in the description, guys, if you want to enter the draw anyway. And also, as we do every day that we've started with Football Prizes, we will enter someone for free to win a signed Leila Bader shirt with the best comment or best question of the day. Myself and Sean will look through the comments and pick that out. A couple of lucky guys entered the draw already, Sean. So you can win a signed Leila Bader shirt. Early bird price, £3.16, guys. You know what to do. Follow the link in the description. Football Prizes, we say thanks to them for their sponsorship of the pod. And along the bottom, you know the new deal. It's £1 for 2 months of full access to the website, all the marvellous stuff on that. Makes great reading. And obviously the YouTube videos. You can join us. Hit the subscribe button. You know what to do. Hit that button, guys. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Now, Sean, the bandwagon rolls into the Highlands tonight. I'm just strapping myself in. A long journey there and back, but there you have it. All in a day's work. Celtic go to Dingwall. First defence of the League Cup, Sean. Tricky tie against Ross County. Played there recently. They won 3-1. Couple of late goals from Gents and Abada sealing the victory after Kyogo had opened the scoring. Now, ourselves have picked a team, Sean. We've picked a team, haven't we? And we've made some changes to the team. We think that Ange Postecoglou will use this game to rotate his squad, but keep a nucleus that will be good enough to win the game, Sean.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it? I mean, that's the key. That's the main question. I think rotation is happening, as I said yesterday. Just the question is how many. I've eventually gone for 5, Tony. I don't know. Do you know many you took out?
I think I went for 5 too. I think 5 was the kind of...
the same 5, is it?
It's definitely not the same 5 because I've made a big call in the midfield, which I
so you have. Right, will we take it for the headline act, or will we take it from back to front?
We'll take it from back to front. We'll take it from the top.
Back to front, right? All right. I think we've both gone a wee bit of rotation between the sticks.
Yes.
Benjamin Siegrist for Joe Hart.
Yeah. My rationale for that was because of the head wound as well. Just let him fully recover and and obviously to give Siegrist some valuable game time. But I think because of what happened on Sunday, I was more inclined to give Joe Hart a rest. I mean, he probably wouldn't want more because we said on Monday, he wanted to play on, and we argued that decision could possibly be taken or should have been taken out of his hands. But I think this is an ideal time to rest Joe Hart and bring in Siegrist.
I think we kind of spoke about the head knock thing. I do think that things like that shouldn't be left up to the players in 2022. It should be the medical staff and different things. I also think, as an aside, if it's for instance a suspected concussion, then it shouldn't count against your substitutes either. I think it should be a concussion sub, that kind of thing as well. But that's maybe for another day. But I just think, same as with Callum McGregor, there's very little chances you're going to have to rotate Joe Hart, I think. And this might be one of them. I don't actually necessarily know if I believe deep down that he is going to be rotated. But nonetheless, we've both gone for Siegrist. And, I mean, he's going to make his competitive debut sooner rather than later, you would think. And it's not going to be the derby, and it's not going to be Real Madrid at home.
No.
So, I'm thinking this might be the chance that he gets. Defence, I'll give you all 4 right. It might be the same 4, actually. I've said Anthony Ralston for his first start of the season.
Ralston for me too,
which at the place where he arguably made his most telling contribution last term would be a nice quirk of fate. And then in the middle, I've gone, as much as I would like to see Stephen Welsh return for some game time, I've gone Cameron Carter-Vickers and Carl Starfelt for the rationale that they'd probably need another game together ahead of the two kind of real big ones. And that's the only rationale, because I wouldn't mind seeing Stephen Welsh get game time. I wouldn't mind seeing Maurice Jens get more game time. But Carl Starfelt, having only come back from injury and getting that partnership up and running again ahead of those two big games, I think it makes sense not to rotate the two of them.
It's continuity for me, Sean.
Yeah.
With those two, and to go into the Rangers game as well. So I picked the same two, yeah.
Did you consider a competitive first start for Alexandro Bernabe at left back?
I did. I typed his name, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I moved it," and it just kind of, I don't know. I backed out of it, and I just
so did I. Bottled it as well.
I just thought Taylor, nah. I think sometimes you can disrupt flow and rhythm, and Taylor's been absolutely outstanding in his contribution. The last time in Dingwall was telling, so that's what swung it for me, because just returning to a place where he's had a good game and he's just played really well. So that I did think about Bernabe really a lot, but I just ruled him out on the basis that Taylor he's just been too good. So that was my rationale for that.
Jerry Coyle wasn't really a head knock as such, more of a gash. Well, I seen his skull pretty much. So, but nah. So, with Greg Taylor, it was more a case of I think Alexandro Bernabe might get on from the bench more than start for this one. But again, with the same rationale as rotating anybody, I suppose the argument is there. But so same back four, same keeper then, is it?
Same back four, same keeper.
Right, so I suppose this is where it changes, and we've had a few comments suggesting that this is what should happen. So Tony, give us your midfield.
My midfield was McGregor, for the sheer fact you can't rotate him and Moy to start. Yeah, I said Moy and O'Reilly. Rested Haggerty.
What's your rationale for Aaron Moy starting? Would you think?
I just want to see him, Sean, play at least an hour. I spoke about it yesterday, and if Moy starts to be a puppet master of that, I'm just intrigued, because you flagged up his stats for the cameo that he had at Tannadice, which was very, very good. And he played that wonderful pass into Maeda, which led to the goal for Abada, the hat-trick goal. And I just think but every time I've seen Moy come on the park, there's been more and more from him, hasn't there? And he's now looking like the player that I think Ange wants him to be. And he's not, there's no inhibitions now. He's getting into the rhythm of the way Celtic are playing. It's been grown and grown and grown in the wee cameos that he's played. So I just think this is an ideal game. Without disrupting too much in the midfield, I think he could slot in there and play really well alongside McGregor and O'Reilly. Just my thoughts.
Or was that your rationale, the same as Jason Lee? Celtic just play better with a bald midfielder?
Possibly. I don't know.
Ross, agreeing with you, needs match fitness. Yeah. Yep. I haven't gone for Aaron Moy. I've gone Callum McGregor again. I just don't see when you can rotate him a lot of the time. I do think that his chances of arrest seem to rely mostly on getting taken off earlier in a game rather than outright being on the bench. I still think Aaron Moy looks as if he's still working his way through the gears to match fitness, so I don't know if a start's on the cards, but maybe. I've gone Matt O'Reilly, and I've also gone David Turnbull to come back in for Raul Haggerty. So I just think that's maybe one of the ones that he'll consider ahead of two really big games with Haggerty to come in for those.
Listen, that it was a toss-up between Moy and Turnbull, but I just feel that Moy's getting there. And I think he can give you an hour, Sean, the way the manager likes to kind of rotate that, does it? About an hour, so I don't think it's a massive gamble to play Moy, do you?
No. It just depends if he's actually fit enough to play the first 60 rather than the last 30, that kind of thing. Cut Rock saying, when does Ideguchi get a run? He was actually back in training, so he might be in the squad. We'll see later on. William Lamont, this brings us on to the front three. Georgios Giacomakis must start. Don't risk Kyogo. I don't know if I'd go with don't risk Kyogo, but I have taken Giacomakis to start alongside Tony, Lael Abada and Aizen Maeda.
Yeah, I think that's the three I went with too as well. I I just think Giakoumakis needs game time. He wants goals as well, and it's not so much don't risk Kyogo. You just want to protect your asset, don't you, for Saturday? And I think he scored the opening goal in the last 4 games, and he's did very well. And there's an element of it you don't need to fix it, but I just think, I think you'd be wise. He get brought on last season at one point and ended up out for a lengthy period, didn't he? So when he didn't need to play, so I think
Betis game was it?
The Betis game, yeah. So you learn your lessons from that, I think, and you just you want to play your strongest team against Rangers on Saturday, so you don't take too much risk there.
Well, my starting 11: Seagrist, Ralston, Carter, Vickers, Starfelt, Taylor, McGregor, Turnbull, O'Reilly, Abada, Giakoumakis, and Maeda. And the difference with yours is Aaron Moy, and is that it? Aaron Moy?
I think that's it, yeah.
That's it. So basically with that, I mean, so first of all, that's for mine, that's coming in for Joe Hart, Josip Jaravic, Raul Hatate, Kyogo Furuhashi, and Jota. It kind of sounds odd not having Kyogo or Jota in the starting 11, I suppose, but with the squad depth available, I think it's still a strong 11. And I mean, there was a commenter yesterday said 7 changes. I still agree. You could make 7, and it would still be a strong 11. I think 5's maybe about right. Alternatively, Tony, he could go with, for instance, Jota and Hatate from the start, with the intention of trying to get the game in the bag, taking them off after 60 minutes and giving people a run out.
Not ruling that out, Sean, either. The great thing is he has many options there, but you just have to be prudent and wise, but field a team that you know will win the game. And because obviously they're defending the League Cup that they won last season, they're the holders, and also bearing in mind, as I wrote about in the 3 points yesterday, that Ross County have some history against Celtic in the Cup. So this is not a gimme or a pushover by any stretch. None of these games are. So they will come at you, and they'll, because they've got nothing to lose. It's a one-off cup tie. So you have to be mindful of that too. And that's why I think, what's that, 5 changes, Sean, we made? I think that's enough to put out a fairly and highly competitive team that will win you the game.
Robert Highland, do you think Haksabanovic will see an appearance? I didn't take him from the start near the Tony. Suspect he might be in the matchday squad though, Tony, or the match night squad?
I would imagine he'll be in the matchday squad, and if the manager thinks he's fit enough, then he might give him a wee cameo.
Tony, I've just spotted a contender for comment of the day for the cheek.
Yeah.
Angelo Tyro, you lack faith in the depth. Sean, what of all people to accuse of that? Retro Celtic, Ange won't want to have too many changes with the upcoming game, Sean. I mean, can see both.
But he hinted yesterday in his press conference that he would make changes. He said he was going to make changes.
Yeah, I think he
was asked a direct question, so they will make changes. How many? Obviously, we're second guessing them, but I'm with Isaac on this one. We've spoken and banged on about this for ages and ages. How magic is it to just sort of talk about the fact that we have so many changes and we're bringing in players that are like for like, and can comfortably and easily do the job.
Yep. I mean that's the biggest bonus for me this summer. As you know, spent most of last season moaning about the squad depth. This season's different. This season, you do, as I say, the commenter yesterday that said 7 changes, even though I said I don't think he will make 7, I think you could easily sit there and make 7 or 8 and you would still have a strong 11. So,
of course,
bodes well. I think you can still make full use of the subs to try and keep that intensity no matter what starting 11 you go with. And I must admit, up front, especially any of the current crop of kind of first choice forwards, they can all be picked at this point because they've all started the season well, albeit maybe in different ways. Done a wee bit of looking into I know it's only 5 games, but the opening 5 block of 5 games. Dyson Maeda has an assist every 67 minutes, right? Jota has a goal or assist every 62. Kyogo has a goal every 60, and Giakoumakis has a goal every 52, and he's not started yet at all. So I just think you can mix and match them as you want for each individual test.
And Sean Martin has a stat every 20 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, knowledge. Hat tip to that, Sean. Yes, indeed. No, listen, that's quite impressive from, as you say, all of the forwards. But you've got confidence in whatever team the manager picks, haven't you?
Yep. Aye, and as Pete McGee's saying, there's a bigger consideration with this game more than even just the fact that it's an elimination game, which is that there's two massive games that you don't want to knock confidence for. So you really want to make this as routine as possible. And for that reason, Pete McGee's pointing out that use the subs rather than the rotating from the start. I think you still will rotate from the start, but that's not to say you won't use the subs well, because I think it's all part of the game plan.
And bearing in mind, Sean, there's a trophy to be won at the end of the run if Celtic can see it through to the end again, and it was a catalyst for everything that was good about Celtic last season, winning the League Cup, and that importance isn't lost on Ange. He was asked about that yesterday as well, and he touched upon that and said that it was very important. So, it's you said it at the start of the proper programme. It's striking that balance, isn't it?
Yep.
And getting it right, and it is an important trophy for Celtic. I don't care what anybody says; they're all important trophies. You do not prioritise anything. This is the trophy they're playing in tonight. So get the job done. Be clinical. Be professional, and get the job done.
Now you know my thoughts on it, and it was when was it, December last year, and me, you, and Alison had a discussion about priorities in derby wins versus cup wins, and I was perhaps standing alone a wee bit at that point and saying that I would prioritise a cup win over a derby win purely because there was a trophy at the end of one of the games, and there wasn't at the end of the next derby, that kind of thing. So you know where I stand on it. I do think, without being cliche, and it is cliche, the next game's the most important. The one that can get you knocked out of winning a trophy is massively important.
Of course.
So now Robert Hyland mentioning Ross County will be physical and fast with a lot of long balls. He reckons that Celtic need Yakimakis up front and big Maurice Jens at the back. I honestly think, again, even with the ones at the back, you can mix and match just now. I think they're playing well. They all arguably need game time. Maybe Carter Vickers is the only one you could say you could rotate for game time, but it's only 5 games into the season, and he's the mainstay. I don't think he goes out, but you never know.
I love this from Fasik McLaughlin. 3-0 tonight. It's always tight up there. 3-0
I mean, on Ross County, Tony, we kind of spoke about them the last time, but since that last Celtic game a few weeks ago, they've lost 2, 1-0 against St Mirren, 4-0 against Rangers, and won once, which was 1-0 against Kilmarnock. But to be fair to them, and I mean, in terms of chances, statistically, they allow more than they create. But again, to be fair to them, they've already played Celtic, Rangers, and Hearts in their opening 5 games. They've played the top 3 in the league in the last season. So that is there's a certain amount of leeway there in terms of the results that they've had. Because certainly their Hearts game that they expected and should arguably have taken something from it. But they'll still be playing the same shape. I imagine it'll be a 4-2-3-1, but naturally against Celtic, that shape will just get pulled asunder a lot of the time. It'll be quite disparate. It'll be maybe you'll see when you see the average positions, you'll see the defence, but maybe the rest of the players will be pulled asunder. As I say, it'll probably be a lot deeper than they usually want as well. They'll be missing their captain and an influential midfielder. So Jack Baldwin's out, Ross Callaghan's out, suspended. So that's not good for them, which means it's good for Celtic. So I mean, again, we'll come on to our score predictions, but it bodes well for Celtic when you see the absentees, when you see the results that County have had, and you see the options that Celtic have got.
I still expecting nothing other than a tough game, Shaw. It always is.
Yeah.
In Dingwall. So I'm sure Ange will have prepared the players for that again as well, that outcome. So I have no qualms about it being a tough game for Celtic. I'm just fairly confident in the way they're playing that whatever challenge they have, they'll be able to overcome it.
Do you think Edward Diverange does not rest players? I would dispute that. Did you not see the lineup for Bodo Glimt last season? Second leg. That was the ultimate in resting players for the league campaign. Peg leg Lonergan, what a name. The hamstring issue could only arise when games start coming thick and fast. The madness starts now. That was obviously an issue last season, Tony, soft tissue injuries, but I would argue that was in large part due to the squad depth issue.
Yep.
Which this season, theoretically, people staying fit and all that, soft tissue injuries, I wouldn't expect it to be as bad, purely because you won't be playing the same players just as much. You can rotate within games, you can rotate within match days, that kind of thing.
But also as well, they've had a full pre-season, and they made the use of the pre-season, and he said he worked them hard to get them used to various things like 1 game a week, and then it being built up to 2 and 3 games a week. So this is now that period starting now, Sean, where it's basically Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, game, isn't it? Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday.
Basically, Saturdays and then Tuesday or Wednesdays, but
so and it's and players prefer that, don't they?
I mean, you speak to any player and they would say they would rather have the games than not. They'd rather get the momentum. So obviously, and this is kind of what I say in my predicted 11. This is why I don't want too many changes, because there is a rhythm and a momentum, and it's all well and good saying it doesn't matter who comes in, and to a certain extent that's true. The intensity will be there, but nonetheless there's a momentum being built up as well.
Yeah, indeed, and momentum's important. Sometimes you ask the manager, he doesn't see it that way, but it's certainly, to you and I, it's certainly important. But I think Celtic have built up some decent. I think also as well that the way the manager has them playing, they're all very comfortable in their own skin. They're all very comfortable in the fact that when they're asked and called upon to do a job, they know what to do. He has drummed it into them, and I listened intently yesterday to what Andrew was saying, and he mentioned the point that we mentioned on Monday, Sean, that a lot of the stuff that they did at Tannadice was repetition, and the joy for him came from the fact that it worked on Sunday at Tannadice, and we were speaking about that, about those behaviours, and that they looked as if this was a team that had practiced various moves till they got it spot on and bang on. And the manager said that
school of sharks, having smelled blood at one point, and it was a delight to watch, to be honest. But Alan Woods here, the hamstring issues got lighter in the second half of last season with more players coming in, getting used to Ange's demands. I agree with that. I think the addition of the January signings in particular helped that.
I think this could be one of the quality comments, Sean. I like that.
Ange's looking in the dressing room to pick his team. He's like Tony looking in his wardrobe and picking another quality shirt.
There you go. I'll open it one day, guys. I promise. You can see those quality shirts if you want.
A couple of comments. Tony, Jason Lee, I hope Starfelt starts so he can keep scoring. Peter Morrison, morning boys. Ross County 0, and then Celtic pick a number between 1 and 12. David Bradley, Sean, I'd like to see Turnbull get a good 90 minutes once I'm up to speed. All fair comments.
Yeah, of course.
Don't know about the 12-0, but
yes, indeed. But listen, that's just a measure of the confidence among the Celtic supporters, isn't it? That they do feel that they're getting into games and they are going to win. And I remember Bertie Auld, when he was talking about the Lions, he said it was a wonderful time. It wasn't where you're going to win, it was how many goals were you going to win by. Celtic have not reached that stage yet under Ange Postecoglou, but they're fast approaching it. And it's not arrogance or cockiness, it's just confidence in their own ability to be able to, as Ange says, knock down every challenge that comes their way. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the fans getting up about that, and as Kevin McKenna said, celebrating that fact that the fans are feeling bullish about their team at the minute and the way they're playing.
Yep. In Dingwall, Tony, last 11 years, played 18, won 12, drawn 3, lost 3.
Yep.
Read anything into that, or not really, because it's a different team for a lot of those 18 games.
Yeah, but Sean, you always, I mean, I guess those kind of things have no bearing on what's going to happen tonight, but they're timely reminders that, you know, it's not 100% record. You don't just go up there and win easily. Celtic have gone up there and won easily, but they've also came a cropper as well. And also, and I know cup competitions against Ross County in recent years have been fraught. 2 semi-final defeats in particular, one in the Scottish Cup, one in the League Cup, and then another one when Celtic lost 2-0 and relinquished their grip on every trophy in the 10 in a row season. So, you know, history tells you that it's not an easy place to go, but I allude to the fact earlier that you just be clinical and professional, then you trust this squad of players, whatever squad of players the manager picks, you trust them to do a job and win and be successful. And that's what, and these guys are now used to that winning feeling, Sean. That's the first trophy that they won under Ange's era. They're in no mood to let it go cheaply. I would conjecture.
No, I'd agree with that. Pat McCarthy rotation starts now.
No.
Angelo Tyro, hopefully Carol Starfelt has more confidence playing out from the back. I think that's massively key. But that's partly why I think he won't be rested. He won't be rotated. He's just back. He's still getting up to full kind of match fitness, match confidence. So, well, I can see the logic for having Welsh and Jensen. I just think allowing that partnership to kind of revive itself again, Carter Vickers and Starfelt, even if it means Carter Vickers again playing, then I think that's potentially where the priority will lie ahead of the two big games or the two bigger games.
And I think that's in reference to Carol Starfelt's pass to Juranovic, where Greg Middleton almost scored on Sunday. And we also alluded to the Ginelli chance against Hearts. Teams with better technical players would score those chances, Sean.
Potentially, aye. I mean, I do know what pass you're talking about. I know what pass you're talking about, and I agree. But also, I do still feel as if it's Starfelt, it gets focused on a wee bit too much. Because I would argue, although his general passing was quite accurate, that Juranovic has done precisely that, giving the ball away in his own third a couple of times already this season. Doesn't necessarily get picked up on because he's more popular than Starfelt, I think, fundamentally. But I do agree with Angelo that is something you look out for with Starfelt, because it's so key when you're the centre back that you do have that confidence in playing out, and you've seen that progression in him at the tail end of last season. So it will be. He's right. It is an interesting one.
Okay, Sean. Time to can't avoid it any longer. Score prediction.
All right. You first. Me first.
I'll go first.
All right. Okay.
I'll go with a commenter that said a tight game. I'll go a tight 4-0 as well.
Right. Okay. Well, last season, Tony, there was a 4-0. Remember?
Yeah, there was.
It was a 2-0, a 4-0, a 2-1, a 3-0. It was 3-1 earlier this season. I will go down the middle with that and go 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 Celtic. Yep.
Okay. No worries.
Patrick McLaughlin saying a professional 3-0. Kevin Ferrier agreeing with you 4-0. Chilpil 2-0. Jason Lee 3-0.
Jerry Coyle's
Kennedy thrown in a comment just agreeing with me, the criticism of Starfelt's tiresome. Who else here? Jerry Coyle 8-0. Edward Diver 7-0. Gary McDowell 2-0. Plenty of comments here. John McCauley's the only one getting the Staggies on the score sheet by the looks of it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I do still expect a hard game, Sean. I have to say. So it's not a given, and we're not being blasé when we say these score lines. We are saying it because there is goals in this Celtic team, plenty of them, even when he does rotate, and they are putting teams to the sword at the minute. So I think that's a reflection of the score lines, some of the more optimistic ones, like myself and others.
Yep, Richard Coleman probably calling it spot on for most people deep down. Anything over 1-0 is a bonus.
Yeah. Any kind of win, Sean. You take any kind of, especially in cup competitions, because you're a bounce of the ball, a decision away from exiting a cup competition. So just be professional.
An early shoot for man of the match, Tony. Man of the match, Greg Taylor. Every man of the match, maybe.
If they're as clinical as they were on Sunday and professional, then you don't envisage any problems, do you?
Yeah. No. Well, we've had a couple of comments here, Tony, so I thought I'd throw up. Greg, when does the transfer window close? Do we still have all day tomorrow? Yes, it's midnight tomorrow. So, and I think England is 11 p.m. tomorrow, so there's an hour of a difference.
Yeah.
So if there's any moves from England or anything, it'll be slightly.
But you can also sign free agents after the window.
Yep.
If the window closes, so if the paperwork and all that's been lodged in time as well, you can conclude deals.
Yeah.
So that's but it's midnight tomorrow night.
Speaking of transfers, Tony, Owen Moffat exited stage
Blackpool
yesterday. At Blackpool. Yep.
Yeah, and he went with a lot of people's best wishes. A lot of them just said that it was at this moment in time to break into that Celtic team, you have to be an exceptional talent. And Owen Moffat was a talented player. Maybe just didn't have enough to force his way into that Celtic team, and there's no shame in that. when he came on and he did his bit, he was, he impressed. So we wish the boy all the best and good luck to him. And I think there was also a couple of people said they hope they don't live to rue that someday. But it just shows you how hard it is, Sean, to make that step up, that pathway that we talk about. It's very, very difficult to bridge that gap, isn't it, from the B team to the first team. And but there will be future Tierney's and McGregor's from the B team. That's just
hopefully. Hopefully.
But it's Owen Moffat was somebody that he possibly had high hopes for. But wish him every success at Blackpool, and hopefully the boys plays some regular football and takes his chance and goes on to smash it down there and do his thing. And I'd like to put on record and say good luck, young man.
He was on a contract till 2024, but perhaps again maybe that pathway just wasn't there. He was wanting to move above what the B team can offer just now in the Lowland League. And good luck to him. I think he was a talented boy. He will not be forgotten for playing his own small part in the double win last year, and it's almost fitting that it's in advance of the Ross County game in Dingwall, because although he played in the League Cup final and stuff, that contribution, his kind of secondary assist, as they would call it, giving the ball to was it McGregor he gave it to, was it Rogic? And then Rogic stinked it across, and Ralston obviously with the 97th minute winner. He played his part that game, sticking to the plan. Didn't just rifle it in because he had the ball on the edge of the area. He kept it simple, let them play it round, and eventually that led to the Ralston goal. So he played his part as 35 other people did in that squad last year. And I think most people would wish him good luck down in Blackpool.
And on that note, Andrews asked a question yesterday about transfers, and he said there could be some movement. So, up until midnight tomorrow, everybody will be tuned in to see if there is movement with Celtic, Sean, in terms of that defensive central midfielder that everybody craves, Sean. Could happen, could not happen.
Potentially.
We'll see, indeed. But, Ange knows best. But just draw your attention to the fact as well, Sean's just put it up there in the comments.
I can do that.
Celtic away top, Sean. Tell them.
Yep. Well, actually, two things before we go, Tony. One, a personal thing. Two, that thing. Before we go, one, I don't know, I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure Tony speaks for us as well. Solidarity with the strikers currently fighting for better pay from Reach PLC, which owns the likes of Daily Record, Sunday Mail, Football Scotland, etc., etc. My own opinion is that workers in our industry matter as much as the workers in others, so that's the first thing. Two, the second thing is, as Tony says, you can still win an away top on Twitter, which is easy to do. You just click that link that I've put in the comments. Make sure you follow the instructions, which is as simple as retweeting the tweet and make sure you follow the Celtic Way account. And as I say, the link's in the comments, so easy days.
Yes, echo your sentiments about striking workers, Sean. Yep, indeed. Part of the union guys at the Record are going on strike in Football Scotland and various other industries. But the journalists who are going on strike, good luck to them. Hopefully they get what they want out of everything that happens. But we're behind them. Solidarity with them.
Yep.
Very much so, Sean. And yes, get retweeting for the Celtic away top. It's a wonderful jersey. It's worth winning. And also £3.16, the early ticket and early bird prize for a signed and framed Lila Bader shirt, a courtesy of Football Prizes, our new sponsors of the pod. We thank them very much for that. Sean, have you got a comment? Are you going to go with the one that dug you out?
Oh, I think I will, aye.
Yeah?
For the cheek, your lack of faith in the depth, Sean. So, Angelo, if you email or DM on Twitter or direct message the Facebook page, you can maybe even get the email on the YouTube channel, and we'll get you your free entry into the draw for the Lila Bader signed shirt.
Well, there you go, guys. That shows you that we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're not precious. Sean, making the tweet of the day, somebody who's had a pop at him. I'm very impressed by that attitude, Sean. I like that. Nice one. Big up to you. And guys, hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. All roads lead to Dingwall tonight. Yep. We'll reconvene tomorrow and we'll pour over it all over again, all the action. But I ask you, or I urge you to subscribe to the Celtic Way. It's much more than just a website and a podcast. You know that. It's both. And £1 for 2 months of full access. Hit that button, www.celticway.co.uk, youtube.com/subscribe. Loved that today, Sean. That's been the quickest 35 minutes ever. Always seems to go in quickly when you're talking about Celtic and they're playing well and all sorts of stuff. Thank you, Sean, for your contribution. I'd say really enjoyed it. First class, as always. Thanks, guys, to the comments coming in. Excellent. Keep them coming every day. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.
Cheers, Tony. Cheers, guys.